Welcome to the Daily Upload. We're filming from an undisclosed location. I just took a hat off. I didn't get hit. A lot of stuff we can cover today, but this is a daily channel where I cover the news if it's relevant, if it actually matters. I cover some of the things that I'm working on in AI strategy, and then I end with questions. So, first off, let's pan to the screen. A big part of Superbase's success will be our willingness to improve existing standards rather than reinvent the wheel. Boom, yes. So much of this, Postgres, S3, Dino, Postgres, UI blocks using ShadCN, and embeddings with PG Vector. So true, because this is one of the few services that I really am into, where I don't want to use Clerk for auth. I know it's really helpful, but for me personally, at the scale that I want to build, at the level of knowledge I want to have, I don't want to have title surface level knowledge on stuff. So when I want to learn auth, I go roll auth, and then I'll go do it in Supabase or whatever. But learning the primitives of it is just the best. There's a big argument to be made about using something like Remix versus like Next.js, for instance, because there's no magic that goes on, and it uses a lot of the primitives versus something like Next, where there's a lot of stuff that's in this black box that is an abstraction, and it can get a little bit tricky when you're debugging things. So yeah, I just think that I wanted to kick that off because I just find it so true. Where in Supabase, you can just basically go in and you'll have a portable Postgres database without the hassle. They should definitely pay me. They have real-time enabled. So underneath this, it's using WebSockets, but underneath that, it's using Elixir. And if we just do a little research on who uses stuff like Elixir, what are popular companies who use Elixir? It's going to be WhatsApp. It's going to be a lot of payments companies and telecommunication companies because it's very reliable. And so you want something like that underneath the hood of something like real-time. So you wouldn't even have to worry or know about it. Discord, Pinterest, a lot of stuff. And you want that under the hood. You want really awesome primitives. And what's really cool about it is I could actually go, let's do this. Let's move this over. Move that over there. And I could just type in Supabase codebase. And I can go in. And if I wanted to, I could pull this down. I could self-host it. I can see where in here things are going on. So if I type in real time, you can see examples of real time with a Figma clone on Flutter, but like who uses Flutter? Next.js, all these things. And then of course you can use your Copilot. So you could ask questions about it and figure out, how do I set this up? And my phone is actually like, I'm getting a voicemail right now. I have the light on. Pretty epic. I don't think it was doing anything, so I'm going to turn that off. But if I were learning again, I would have saved a lot of time, basically, by just going and sitting on GitHub all day and like reading about all these things. Like you can see Postmates, they use Elixir to run delivery tracking. It's funny, I know a lot about that delivery tracking thing, having spent like 7 years of my life on it. But I can't say enough good things about this. One area that can be a little distracting is if you want to use edge functions. It can be a little bit confusing at first, but they made it a lot easier. Where if I go into my dashboard, and this is for iVibe with AI, and I go into edge functions, I can do this for submitting emails, but I had one for an auth hook, which didn't make much sense. I should have just used a database trigger, so that's what I did. But I wanted to explore edge functions. But what it allows you to do is basically have things run as workers. If you're not familiar with what that is, you have jobs that need to be done that might take a little bit of time, and you don't want them to block the client. You don't want them to eat any of the CPU, the memory, the resources that you have on the one app. So it's like, oh, you're a worker, go do your thing. And it is consuming the job, and it goes and does the job. So that's my rant on Supabase. And then I wanted to talk about this post that I made on our school. Yes, we're still on school. It's about this always up-to-date docs with context 7. And so context 7 solves a problem where in my cursor, I go into settings, and I go into cursor settings, then I go into features, and I scroll down. You're going to see a bunch of these. And see how there's already some that are like index failed? That's not good. And if I don't do it proactively, then these will be outdated, and it won't be good because it's old news. So it solved that problem by wrapping it into an MCP. So I have one set in here, and it's just oh, this is Taskmaster. I don't think I added this one yet, sorry. But what it does is allows you to have an MPC server that you call using natural language. So I could say, how do I use Next.js after function? Use context7. It's going to call context7. You can see I already am looking at one for .NET. This is an example because it has so many tokens. I'll show you that in a second. But if I just go to context7, it is an Upstash project, by the way, which is, I don't know if you're familiar with that. But if I go to the site and it loads, apparently it's mad. If I go to the home page, you'll see all the libraries in here. You'll see that Next.js was updated yesterday, has 2,509. When I looked at this yesterday, there was like 1,800. So people were adding them all the time. It's getting really, really popular. And you can pass it things like, only give me a certain section of these. And the way that it formats it is actually unique, because instead of it being like a .txt, which if I went to here, this is a popular trend where you basically bundle up all your docs. Here we go. And you just put them in this thing. But that's okay. But what if you have more than 1 million tokens? Or what if you want something that's formatted a little bit better? That's what context7 does. So we'll go back to context7. By the way, hotkey, Control-Shift-A if you're on Mac for hopping around. But I could come in and like basically see how they format it. So it has this nice mark up top, has description, title, language, and then a snippet. And it just formatted really nicely. So I've used this, and I actually used it to debug. I made my own for debugging this. So this is my automation server running on GCP. And what it does is I've talked about this before, but basically I want to drop a YouTube video into a folder and then have all the stuff around it done. So that includes processing with the audio. It includes splitting out the responses for the transcript, the subtitles in VTT, show notes, chapters, titles, etc. And those are all separate prompts, because if you put them all in one, it's not going to be as good. And I didn't know how to do this. And I didn't have context7 before, but I used it basically, or I was going to use it. I'm going to use it to further learn. I haven't done that yet, sorry, because it wasn't in the project. But what I did was I added the MCP on here. So if I type in Google Cloud, there should be, where did I put it? It's like Cloud Run or something. Basically, I added one. And yeah, this is one I added today. Pretty cool. Very short, but it does its job. And I'm actually curious, context7 GitHub, I want to see how they format it. Fetches up-to-date documentation, sick. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it in my rules. So let's just do it together. So I'm going to install this on my project. And let's go into cursor rules, MCP. I have this both globally and locally, so I don't have the keys in here because of the video, but let's move that down. Let's go to the next bracket and let's close this. We don't need that, and we don't need that. Where are we off? We have one too many. What am I doing wrong? Okay. Now that shows up as an enable. Great. So let's try it out. We're going to say, how do we, let's add one. We're going to go and grab, let's see, Puppeteer. Actually, Puppeteer is probably on there. Context7, Puppeteer. Cool. Yeah, we're going to see how do we don't need Puppeteer for this. It's just something I thought of. What do I actually need next? I need something to do with Gemini. Gemini editing with Next.js, Google Gen AI. Boom. Yeah, we want this one. Show docs for image. Let's just try the whole thing. Because this was in question when I was building this last thing for the processor. You can see, if you open up Outline, you can see all the different parts of it. So you have the generate VTT, generate transcript, generate show notes, generate chapters, generate titles. And I think it's all using the same model. So let's take a look. Yeah, right now it's using 1.5 Pro Preview. And I don't know if that's the best. So I'm like, okay, let's do, what was the vernacular? It should just work with MCP, but I know I should still put something at the end. Yeah, let's do this. How do which models are multimodal so that we pick the best cost-effective ones for each function in process underscore come on. It's already tagged. So that should do it, and it should make a call. We'll see. I don't want to auto search it though. We got a problem. Parker, you're making a video about this. You're supposed to know everything. No, this is reality. Use context 7. So we have it in both. Use context 7. It says it's live. So let's say use context 7, get library docs for, what's it called? Religion AI. Will it blend? I have one of these right now. If you think I'm talking fast now, about to bring the heat. It still wants to do a web search. So confused. Maybe, use context 7. I need to figure out how to use this. This is so frustrating. Let's just do this. I'll let you know when I figure it out, because I need it. So that's on that topic. And yeah, I'm just having fun. I'm trying to get this all live. And then it'll basically replace this, which is nice. And if you enjoyed this video, make sure you like it, and I'll see you in the next one.